Hello, and welcome on into another episode of the Whiskey Crusaders. I'm Will.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Matt.
Today we're going to be drinking Koval Bourbon.
Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and click that notification bell. Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit about this bourbon in our glass?
All right. Koval Bourbon. We've had them on live streams. We never actually recorded them. So this is Koval. Koval was founded in 2008. It's the first distillery in Chicago since the mid-1800s, which is insane.
Chicago?
It's in Chicago. So yeah, just interesting. So Robert and Sonat Birnecker, whose roots are in Austrian distilling and wineries, and hers are in previous academics. They make all organic whiskeys. They all are local farmers, and their water source is Lake Michigan, which must be interesting. Going through Chicago, I'm going, must be interesting. I figured things was polluted as crap, but I guess not. Who knows? Anyway, everything is grown, like I said, really nearby by local farmers. It's milled, mashed, fermented, distilled, all there. They only use a heart cut, just the heart cut, and they don't put any of the heads or feints into it at all. Koval means, in many Eastern European languages, it means blacksmith. In Yiddish, it means black sheep, which is very interesting. So Sonet's grandfather came from Vienna to Chicago in the early 1900s at 17. So he was called Koval as the black sheep of the family, which is interesting. And then Robert's grandfather is German because his last name is Schmid, which is Smith in German, which is kind of cool. So that's where they came with Koval, since it's blacksmith and black sheep. So Koval became the name, which is kind of cool. They only use 30-gallon barrels, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Which is odd choice, but hey, whatever works. Everything they make is also single barrel. So they have every bottle can be traced to the farm it came from, which is kind of cool, which I do think that's really neat that you can do that. So obviously every bottle is going to be a little bit different since they're all single barrels, which is kind of interesting. Robert is actually consulted over 190 different distilleries to start them in the U.S., that's pretty amazing. That's wow. As in Few, Journeyman, or some of the big names that you might have heard of that he's helped start, which is pretty cool. He also, like I said, he worked at his grandparents' distillery and winery in Austria. He was also the deputy press secretary for the Austrian government at the embassy in D.C. And then his wife, Sonet, she was a doctor of Jewish heritage and German cultural studies in the U.S. and in Germany. All these are non-GMO, and they're all kosher, which is, if you need to have friends that need to drink kosher whiskey, it's there. It's kind of cool. They use Barrel Mill in Minnesota to get their barrels from. And so they use a Kothe pot still, which is custom made for them from Germany, and is 5,000 liters. And the other cool thing is they store all their barrels. They call it the cave. Basically, it's a giant hole in the wall, and it's their barrel house. One of them. They have 3 of them, but that's one of the ones in the original ones. This is kind of cool. The picture on the internet was pretty neat. So, all right. And then, so the bourbon itself, it comes in at 94 proof. It's 51% corn, 49% millet. Millet, which is pretty much no one uses that I'm aware of besides these guys, is an Asian African grain made from 500 different grasses. And it's also drought resistant, prominent in Ethiopia, Uganda, and Tibet, and other parts of Asia. So and usually found in wild birdseed. So it's a very unique grain to be using. So they actually make a 100% millet product as well, which we'll cover at some point.
But millet itself is a mix of grasses. It's a mix of grains.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a mix of all these different grains that makes what millet is.
Yeah. So barley, rye, even corn.
No. It's a bunch of grasses that make up this one grain. There's none of the other grains in it. No rye or barley or anything like that.
No. I know. I understand that. I'm saying I'm telling the people at home that barley and rye and even corn are all types of grasses that have a specific name to it. So millet is a mix of a bunch of different types of grasses, though.
Yeah, that's what it becomes. It comes this millet. It's a type of grasses, but apparently it's 500 different species of grasses that make up millet itself.
Interesting. That's what's intriguing to me.
Yeah, it's a very unique grain. It smells good. And like I said, I don't know any other bourbon that has this kind of a mash bill on it. It's barely a bourbon at 51%.
Right.
As well.
Right.
But it does smell very grassy, like in a grass.
It really does.
Yeah.
Caramel, oak,
and hay,
almonds,
And
like
it also
coconut shavings.
Get a little bit of like a freshly cut grass type of
Yeah,
grass.
vanilla.
And then a lot of really high pitched ethanol vapors that I'm not expecting at what 94?
Yeah, 94.
94 proof.
I think it smells really unique, but it smells really good to me.
It does smell very unique.
Really, really unique. Like
It kind of reminds me, if you ever had the Zuba vodka that has bison grass in it. If you ever had that, it's a Polish vodka, and it has a similar nose to this because of that bison grass that grows over in Eastern Europe, there in Poland.
Get a little bit of a clove.
Yeah, definitely clove.
I have definitely smelled some gins that are very, very herbal and very, very grassy gins. And this is leaning into those types of categories as well.
I agree.
All right, I want to go in.
I also get a little bit of like incense.
Mm.
And when I say incense, I mean,
I like that.
okay, so I was brought up in a Catholic religion, and it smells like that incense they used to use to bless everything.
Oh yeah, especially with,
You know what I'm talking about?
I love the incense smell. It's one of my favorite things about church.
Oh, I like that flavor journey across the
Isn't
mouth.
that good? But you were saying about the gin, it really does have that gin-esque, a little bit of juniper type to it.
Right.
Yeah.
But that heavy grassy, but with like the vanillas and the oak and cinnamon.
I get the incense again on my
But at
palate.
the end, it's got like this mango, raspberry, peaches,
Brings me back to my childhood.
strawberry, rhubarb. It's very fruity.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this glass that I'm not going to be able to give as much credit to that it deserves in this short little film, a short little review.
Cappuccino. Eggnog. And a little bit of cream, which is funny because we got an egg. I don't know what we did like the last thing. We got an eggnog one, and this has a little bit of that eggnog essence.
And it's got the nutmeggy that kind of goes with that eggnog.
It really does. This is really good. I really like this. It's just so out of the wheelhouse of regular bourbon, but just delicious.
It's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm a big fan of Koval.
And I agree with you. It plays within the bourbon category, but this is not a typical bourbon.
Right.
No, this is a very unique bourbon. When I want to take some on like a really unique U.S. cultural different bourbons all over the world, this is one of the ones I want to use because it's so vastly different. Or like Balcon is vastly different than the Kentucky bourbon. They're just all over the place, different.
Yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't have any of that Texas bourbon quality to it either. So
no, this is they must be using air dried 30 gallons because this doesn't taste like this tastes really good.
Yeah. What else is up there in Michigan? We've tasted some other things. Haven't seen Travelers.
So this is Chicago. So this is Illinois.
Oh, this is Chicago.
So Fuse from up there.
Fuse.
What else comes out of Chicago?
Lord.
No.
Union. Not Malort. Was it Union Horse? Something like that. It comes out of there. Which who else? I'm trying to think. I think it's almost I can think off the top of my head that are from there. But like I said, not general area. Like now, if you go a little north, like you said, to Michigan, you got Journeyman and Traverse City, Grand Traverse, things like that.
Yeah.
Jay Henry's up in Wisconsin. Jay Riddle. Two James.
Jay Riddle, right.
Yeah, the two James spirits.
Drop a little bit of water in this real quick.
I really like that though.
I don't think water changes anything too much.
Okay.
First impressions, nothing really changed. Nothing really happened. The finish kind of died down, which typically happens. So,
all right.
Yeah, delicious.
Pretty good stuff. I look forward to spending some more time with this.
What was the price point on this one again, Matt?
It's like 50.
That's not bad.
Okay. So
yeah, for the uniqueness and the different grains, I think it's 45 to 50 usually. It's not crazy.
I want to stress uniqueness.
Yeah, you have to be willing. Again, I think this is one of the things where you need to be a person who likes to go outside the wheelhouse and is willing to try unique and different things. If you're just thinking bourbon, you're going to be disappointed. Now, if you're thinking, hey, I want to try a really cool, unique thing, this is definitely in your wheelhouse.
It is still classified as bourbon.
Yeah, you need to go into this with an open mind.
Right.
Definitely.
Because it is not your typical bourbon. I mean, it does have a
All
lot
their
of
products are like
bourbon traits.
yeah, everything from Koval is unique and different. I've got all of them. They're all really good. They're just all over the place, but very cool, different whiskeys.
All right. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and click the notification bell. And until next time,
keep on crusading for the whiskey in your glass.
Cheers.
Those are good.
Yeah, that really reminds me of my childhood, sitting in church when they're using the incense.